Welcome back to Rich Words Music, where today we're looking at this. It's the 2023 spec'd version of the vintage reissued V65H, resplendent in this wonderful satin purple finish. Now, the V65 is vintage guitar's take on the iconic offset design that you'll know from the Jaguars and Jazzmasters of this world, and the H in the name stands for the fact that we have a hardtail bridge here, in this case a Wilkinson hardtail bridge. Now, vintage guitars of course are some of the more affordable ones out there on the market, and this one currently will set you back about £450 British according to the Vintage and JHS UK based websites. Now, I first saw this guitar at NAMM 2023 in April. I then saw it again at Guitar Summit in September in Germany, but I've never seen one in stores. So this is brand spanking new, and if you get one this year, I think you'll probably be one of the very first to get your hands on this specific model. But what I'm going to do in this video is tell you whether or not I think this is going to be worth your money at the end of the day. I've been on a bit of an offset guitars journey in 2023. I've tested a bunch, and you can see all the other video proof of that there elsewhere on my channel. And I've also had one of the more traditional looking vintage V65Hs here with single coil P90 soapbar type pickups in a more traditional sunburst finish. Again, video to that one up there if you'd like to see that. But what I'm going to do in this video is tell you about the specs, the latest specs, I should say, of the 2023 vintage V65s. Then we'll play it in as many different musical styles as I can possibly manage. And at the end, I'll go into a bit more detail and give you my thorough opinions about this guitar, because I've played it pretty extensively in the weeks since I've had it, and because there are things to say about it. So stick around for that. And of course, as usual on my channel, all the timestamps are down there in the description and in the comments if you want to skip to any certain part of the video that best suits your needs. So let's go first into those specifications and features then. Well, the first thing you're going to notice about this guitar is that beautiful satin purple finish, which extends to the headstock as well. It's really, really nice looking. It's kind of a modernization of the V65s, I would say. I love it. I love the satin finish. I love the paint they've used here. It feels sort of different to any other satin guitar I've ever held. It kind of feels like they've used some different kind of newfangled paint, but there you go. I don't know anything else about that. It looks really, really cool. You can choose between satin purple, satin grey, which might be even cooler than this one, and satin blue. All three of them look fantastic, very modern colours, and they're really going to be perfect for up-and-coming younger guitar players who want something a little bit more exciting than your traditional sunbursts or your whites or your reds or something like that. So full marks to Vintage for going for these cooler, pastel, newfangled 21st century shades on these guitars. I like it a lot. Underneath that finish we have an alder body, and on the top here you can see that we've got a black scratch plate and black hardware, which looks fantastic throughout and really adds to the overall vibe and visual aesthetic of this guitar. So yeah, we've got the black scratch plate here, and we've got two Wilkinson soapbar pickups here. Now these are Wilkinson W90SK stacked ceramic soapbar single coil pickups, so they're going to provide slightly fatter tones than your standard P90 pickups, and they're probably going to have a little bit less of that fabled P90 hum as well, but you'll hear that in the playing part of the video. We've got a volume and tone control for both of the pickups together, and a pretty standard three-way selector switch here, and down at the bottom we have that Wilkinson bridge. This is the 6-saddle hardtail Wilkinson WVFS model, which is going to give us decent tuning stability compared to your standard offset trem type bridge, and it also gives us adjustable intonation for each of the 6 strings, so that's pretty nice as well. Let's just go over to the back here again, and you can see that we've got that traditional offset guitar tummy cut string through body here, and that traditional bolt-on neck operation. And moving up to that neck then, we have what is a one-piece maple neck here. On the Vintage and JHS websites, they don't actually tell us what the fingerboard material is, but I reached out to Music Vine, Vintage's German partners, who sent me this guitar to make this video, and they told me that it is in fact rosewood, so full marks for that as well. We have 22 frets on this guitar. They are medium jumbo frets. They feel fantastic, but more about that later. The neck itself has a really nice feeling profile. It's not slim, it's not fat, it's perhaps slightly chunky and vintage feeling, and it's a soft C profile, and it has a really nice satin finish, so it's really smooth and slinky, feels really, really decent. We have a 43mm Graphtec nut here. We have a 25.5-inch or 648mm scale length a la Fender, beautiful block inlays here too, and a 10-inch fingerboard radius. That's going to be great for playing chords, and it's going to be great for playing solos too. A really do-it-all fingerboard radius. Moving up to the headstock there, again, again, we've got that satin purple finish on the front, and on the back, we've got 6-in-line Wilkinson Deluxe tuners. So this is the Vintage V65H 2023 model, and what we're going to do next is play it. My amp for today is going to be my Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200 head, and we'll be going from the amp's red box AE on the back right into my audio interface, straight into my recording software with no post-production done on any of the audio whatsoever. So what I hear in my headphones is what you're going to be hearing in the video too. We'll start on the amp's clean channel and we'll play some folky stuff, some blues, some poppy stuff, and maybe some indie. Then we'll kick in my Greer Lightspeed organic overdrive pedal and do some of my favourite indie rock stuff, and I think that this kind of guitar is going to be perfect for that sort of music. Then we'll go to the amp's crunch channel for some classic rock stuff, and then we'll kick in the lead channel for some harder rock and some punk rock, maybe even some progressive rock as well. And finally, we'll go back to the clean channel, tune the guitar down to drop D, I'll kick on my Rev G3 distortion pedal, and we'll see if we can make the V65H chug, because why not? Anyway, this is the 2023 Vintage V65H in purple satin. Let's play it now and we'll speak in more detail about it afterwards. Okay then, so that was the 2023 spec vintage reissued V65H in purple satin finish, and I hope you enjoyed the playing and the tones. Satin finish guitars, yay or nay? Leave me your thoughts and opinions down there please, but I'm a very big fan of satin guitars. I like them very much indeed. But now what I'm going to do is give you a few more opinions that I have about this guitar, because I've played it quite a lot since I've had it here over the past few weeks, and there's a lot to say about it. So let's go through and start from the very beginning then. First impressions of this guitar were that it's an incredible eye catcher. I love the way it looks. I love the purple satin finish on this one and the matching headstock, and I love the satin grey and the satin blue models that you can get in this range too. Like I said, I first saw it at the NAMM show in April in Los Angeles, California. Really caught my eye there on the vintage booth. Then I saw it again at the Guitar Summit, caught my eye there as well, and it caught my eye again when I got it out of the box. It's a super beautiful looking guitar. It's not traditional looking in any way, but it really looks modern and offset and sleek, and coupled with the black scratch plate and the black hardware and the black Wilkinson soapbar pickups, it looks really, really good to go. And it's a 21st century take on an offset guitar, that's for sure. So I really, really liked it on first look. And when I picked it up, I was quite happy at the weight too. This specific guitar weighs in at 3.49 kilograms, which is about 7 pounds 11. So it's a decent weight, not super heavy, not super light, works really well, and it balances really well when using a strap as well. So if you're playing sat down or if you're stood up and on stage, it's going to be really, really ideal in all situations. Now, after my first impressions, I wanted to play the guitar, so I picked it up and started doing just that. And straight away, I noticed that this one has been built to very, very decent specifications, and everything felt great. And okay, the first time I played this guitar was at the NAMM show, and of course, a show model would have been set up to 100% of its capabilities. But this one that the folks at Music Bind sent me has also been set up really well as well. I like everything about the setup, and the build quality feels really good too. Now, everything on the neck has been done really well. The nut seems to have been cut perfectly, the Graphtec nut, I should say. The 22 medium jumbo frets have been done really well. All of the fret ends are nice and smooth. I think they've all been crowned really well. It's really comfortable to play. The action and intonation are really good. Really, really set up well for me straight out of the box. And the hardware all seems to do its job really well as well. From the Wilkinson tuners down there to the Wilkinson hardtail bridge here, the pots and the knobs and the switch, no crackles, no scratches, nothing like that whatsoever. Really, really decent. And this satin finish has been done really well as well. Like I said before in the intro part, it really seems to be quite different to any other satin finish on a guitar that I've seen. So I don't know what Vintage are doing here, but I have to say that I like it. And after the build quality, of course, I noticed the playability of this guitar, and this guitar just sort of fell into my hands and became an extension of my body straight away. And a lot of that is down to this fantastic neck. This neck profile really feels like home to me. It's Vintage's soft C shape. It's a one-piece maple neck. It's got that beautiful slinky and fast satin finish on the back. It's just slightly chunky, and it feels really, really good. It feels like home. Like I said before, the frets have all been done really well as well, so that just makes this a fantastic guitar to play. Moving up and down the fingerboard was a breeze. You've got great upper fret access as well, so no problems there whatsoever. And in terms of the rest of the playability, this is a really nice, comfy and compact offset guitar. You've got this slightly smaller than Fender body, you've got the belly cut on the back, you've got these soft rounded corners. It's just really easy to play, and it's a shape that works for me. So in terms of playability, full marks here as well. And one final thing to mention about the playability and of course the build quality is the fact that a hardtail bridge here, as opposed to your more traditional Jazzmaster or Jaguar trem or vibrato setup, is that this hardtail bridge is going to give you much more tuning stability than the vibrato, although of course you lose the ability to do all that cool offset vibrato stuff with this guitar. Is that a compromise you're willing to make? Well, that's something you'll have to decide if you're looking to buy this guitar. But don't forget that Vintage do also offer a number of V65 models with a vibrato bridge. That's the V65V model. So after all of that, the next thing that we need to talk about, of course, is those all-important tones and these stacked Wilkinson ceramic soapbar style pickups and how good they sound. Do they sound decent? Well, in my opinion, they sound fantastic, and they're extremely versatile as well. Now, these are not a traditional P90 single coil pickup with all of the aggressive mid-range honk and all of the noise that you would expect from that. In fact, again, see my other V65 video if you want to hear a more traditional P90 sound from a guitar just like this. But these pickups give you a couple of different advantages compared to a standard traditional P90. The first, in theory, is that they have a lot less extraneous noise, and the second is that they give you a bit more fatness to your tone, and that might be just what you need for certain genres. Again, we're going away from classic pickup sounds here, but with this purple satin finish, we're not really in classic offset territory either, are we? So anyway, the pickups. Starting on the clean sounds, we have beautiful lush clean tones, and this guitar goes all the way from really nice mellow sounds on the neck pickup through to pretty spiky country tones too. And again, a lot more fatness and bottom end throughout than you could expect from true single coil, not stacked P90 type pickups. When we kicked in my Greer Lightspeed for the indie rock stuff, again, this guitar was just doing exactly what I wanted. Really nice, aggressive and in-your-face tones, perfect for those buzzsaw indie sorts of riffs. Now, the first of the surprise packages for me was when we went to the Amps Crunch channel and did the classic rock stuff. This bridge stacked P90 pickup for really thick AC/DC sort of riffs is pretty much a revelation for me. Beautiful fat sounds, really in your face and mid-pushed, really did way more than I expected it to in that regard, so full marks there. And as we went up to higher gain sounds on the Amps lead channel and did the punk rock and stuff like that, the clarity of a stacked single coil pickup like this worked really well. You hear all the notes in a chord, and it's great for palm muting and chugging as well, so really nice for that sort of stuff. And again, because we've got a lot of low end on tap with these pickups, it works for massive sounds too. Now again, these are not quite as tight and crisp as something like a Telecaster pickup or a true single coil P90, but they are really decent for heavier stuff. And that worked for the metal as well. When we turned on the Rev G3, I thought they might struggle a bit, but no, they did the chugging, no problem whatsoever. This isn't a guitar that you'd buy to play metal on unless you were planning on changing out those pickups, but rest assured that these stacked Wilkinson pickups can actually manage that sort of stuff. So overall, a very deceptively versatile instrument, and one that I was very pleased with in terms of tones across the board. So if you've been watching this video and you really like the idea of an offset guitar sort of like this, but you want something perhaps a little bit more traditional than this satin purple finish, well, there are many options for you. And the first place I'd guide you would be the more traditional vintage V65s. I've played one with the sunburst finish, again, video down there of course, and there are other finishes available. Vintage also has the icon ones, which are the road worn, beaten up ones, and they have options with hardtail bridges and options with vibrato bridges too, so the world's your oyster there. Similar sort of price point to Squier classic vibe guitars, and of course the next place to look is going to be your Squier classic vibes. There are a bunch of different Jazzmaster and Jaguar options there, different pickup options, different finishes, and so on and so on. So many to check out, so head to some kind of Squier Fender dealer and you'll be able to try those to your heart's content. Now if you want to have something that's even a little bit more affordable than the vintage guitars, well, I think Harley Benton is probably going to be your friend. One of my favourite guitars that I've purchased in the last year or so is my Harley Benton JA60cc, which is a very simplified sort of an offset guitar like this with Jazzmaster type pickups, and I have a video of that guitar right there that you can watch if you'd like to check that one out. And if you wanted to spend a little bit more money, well, you could try the Fender player models, or you could try my other super secret tip and discovery of the past year or so, which is the G&L Tribute Doheny model. That I've done a video on right there, and that is a superlative offset guitar in pretty much every way for about $300, $400 or euros more than the vintage. Overall though, I'm hugely impressed with the V65H in this new late 2023 spec edition. It's a fantastic guitar all round, and for about £450, 400, 500 euros or dollars, I really think it's going to be worth you looking at if you're in the market for an offset guitar at this sort of price, or if you've even got a little bit more money, it's going to be worth checking out against the other options. From the looks, which are fantastic, if a little bit divisive, through to the playability and the feel of this wonderful neck, the tones from these amazing stacked P90 Wilkinson pickups, and everything else about this guitar, it just works really well for me. And again, if you want the vintage vibe of an offset guitar in other colors and other finishes and with a vibrato, those are available too. I hope that this video has answered all of the questions that you might have had about the V65H, but if there's anything else you want to know, drop me a line down there in the comments and I shall answer to the best of my ability. And if you're still around, it would really make my day if you wanted to give the video a like, or maybe even dropping a cheeky sub to my channel, because that really does help. But that's been it for today's video. I've been Rich for Rich Words Music, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.